Wednesday, February 11th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Back with you this morning here. I'm meteorologist Matthew East. Let's get into the video. We have a lot to talk about today. I'm going to cover a lot of ground, so stick with me. I'm going to show you a lot of the high-resolution modeling as we get deeper into the video. Starting off, though, that's the Avalon Pier web camera on the left along the North Carolina Outer Banks. Beach Mountain Parkway camera on the right, courtesy of ResortCams.com. It's in the 30s there in that portion of the Outer Banks, and in the 20s. That's out Beach Mountain early this morning. Temperatures in general during the 5 o'clock hour in most spots across the Carolinas a good bit chillier than what we had at this point yesterday, and so there are your actual numbers: 20 in Boone, 30 in Charlotte and Greensboro, 27 in, 37 rather, in Columbia and Myrtle Beach, and 36 in Jacksonville. So here's the setup today. Weak high pressure that's going to kind of fall apart, but altogether a nice weather Wednesday. This frontal boundary you see here, this is that Arctic front that's heading our way. It's going to bring us a big blast of Arctic air and then an even colder shot of air later in the weekend. So again, these are current readings. You notice it's pretty cold up there in the northeast. Burlington's at 0, Bangor, Maine at 3. And then just beginning now to see that true Arctic air begin to build across the Canadian border there into the northern parts of the country. Let me flip on Futurecast here and just watch the progress of that cold air over the next couple of days. This is by this evening. And then there it goes, just dumping southeastward right into the eastern part of the country later tomorrow night, and into Friday. So here's how this plays out for us. Again, very quiet weather today. Enjoy it. Temperatures pretty nice this afternoon. And this will be as warm as we'll be in many spots probably for the next week. So enjoy the warmth today, relatively speaking. Here we go tomorrow. Cold front, Arctic front moves through during the day, partly sunny sky, maybe a little bit of precipitation, a few rain showers possible, especially in the eastern Carolinas with that front. Maybe a snow shower or two mixed in up in Virginia. But for most of us, just a dry frontal passage. And our highs tomorrow, these highs occurring in the central and western Carolinas a little bit earlier than normal, by early afternoon, and then temperatures drop from there. Watch this. Here's the Futurecast modeling. This is noon tomorrow, and then there goes that cold air just taking hold all around the region. And we are in the midst of this Arctic air for sure. Friday, frigid air in place, maybe some mid and high level clouds overhead. And here's what we're going with for Friday highs. And again, get ready, an even colder shot of air arrives later in the weekend. Now Saturday, a little bit of a milder day. I think high is able to bump up into the upper 40s to maybe lower 50s on Saturday afternoon. But here's the setup for Sunday, another discharge of Arctic air over the eastern part of the country. And here's the preliminary outlook for some highs on Sunday. And I'll tell you, these numbers that you see here on Raleigh and Fayetteville, those are too warm. Most likely you're going to see some 20s there. And right now we're going with a high of 29 in Charlotte and 26 in Greensboro for Sunday. Those are model-driven numbers you see there in Fayetteville and Raleigh on this particular map, and those numbers will likely have to be adjusted down with this next blast of Arctic air. All right, a lot to talk about in the high-resolution modeling here. Let's just start here. Now these are going to be images from the 0Z run of the GFS. All right, this is Friday morning's low temperatures, and I know these numbers may be tough to read, but the white numbers, those are temperatures that are in the teens or colder on this particular map from Weatherbell. So you're looking at a cold start to Friday, and then these are high temperatures Friday. Again, I think a lot of us in the 30s for highs there on Friday afternoon. And then here we go over the weekend. This is Saturday evening. This is when we see that next surge of Arctic air arrive. Quick shot of some snow in the mountains. And then that cold air takes hold. These are low temperatures Sunday morning. Many Piedmont spots, you note there, between 10 and 15 degrees. Mountains sub-zero. And these are wind chill values around daybreak Sunday. And these are wind chill values that are in Fahrenheit. And so you're looking at sub-zero wind chills in some parts across, in fact, many locations across North Carolina. Those are 20-degree below zero wind chill values Sunday morning up in the mountains. And then highs. These are high temperatures off the GFS model on Sunday. Notice 20s widespread across the foothills and the Piedmont, single digits and teens up in the mountain zones. And then we gear up for another really cold night, Sunday night into Monday morning. And that's when we're looking at, again, many Piedmont spots probably down between 8 and 13 or 14 degrees for lows there as we start Monday morning. Let me show you the Canadian model's representation of this here. These are 2-meter temperatures or surface temperatures on a Sunday morning. So if you look carefully, here's the 10-degree line right there. So anywhere north of that line in the single digits, that's Sunday morning. There is Monday morning, and so here again is your 10-degree line right there. So really cold air mass as we get into the upcoming weekend. Okay, then we await the arrival of the next storm system. Let me show you just a snapshot from the GFS. Again, this is the 0Z run of the GFS, and this is what it looks like by Tuesday evening. All right, so you have an initially very cold and dry air mass in place. These are dew point temperatures, and again, this is in Fahrenheit. These are dew point temperatures Monday evening. These are sub-zero dew points still in central and eastern North Carolina, some single-digit dew points back toward Greensboro and even toward Charlotte at that point in time. And then here comes the next wave of precipitation. This is Monday night into Tuesday morning. And so you have a wave of precipitation moving into this cold and dry air, and so taken at face value on this particular run of the GFS, you had a quick shot of some wintry precip before it turned into a very chilly rain. There's nothing really to lock in the cold and dry air on most model solutions, and so you end up with a very chilly, rainy day on Tuesday. This is throughout the day Tuesday. Then we go on into, and again, it is a chilly rain. There's your surface temperatures, a lot of 30s there midday Tuesday. And then we go on out to Tuesday evening. And then finally, as the system pulls away, the GFS tries to kick over to a few snowflakes again at the tail end of the system. Again, that's the GFS representation. There's the snow chart from the GFS. And again, most of that is just a little quick front end hit of wintry precip before kicking over to rain. In the Piedmont and foothill zones. All right, so that is and I'll show you more on that in just a second. Let me show you the Canadian representation. Now, it is more suppressed with the system. There's your low near a little bit north of Mobile Tuesday, and then you actually get a second piece of energy on Wednesday move through that brings another wave of precip, and so you wind up all totaled up with a snow chart on the Canadian model that looks something like that. Okay, UK Met model. This is a snapshot from the tail end of its run. This is valid Monday evening, and that is a shot of some snow as this precipitation first moves in there. And again, this is as far as this particular run goes. But you can see that was a footprint of snow over Tennessee spreading into North Carolina. Okay, now the European. This is the 0Z run, the latest run as I'm cutting this video, the European, valid Tuesday morning. There's your surface low over the Ozarks, and then from there it heads up to eastern Ohio and Pennsylvania. That is a rain scenario. That is a rain scenario for the Carolinas. Now, I want to show you the difference here with what you had the previous run of the European. This was yesterday's run. All right, and there's where you wound up with that low, along the Outer Banks. So that is a big difference. That is the same exact time frame. There's the previous run of the European. There's the latest one. So speaking of the latest run of the European, there is the ensemble mean. It lines up almost perfectly with the operational location. Okay, and but it's not set in stone. Let me show you this, and I know this is really tough to see, but this is from Weather Bell, and I just wanted to show you all these little L's. Those are where the various ensemble members are placing that low pressure. You have anywhere from the lower Mississippi Valley to the Great Lakes. Finally, let's see, this is the GFS ensemble mean from the 0Z run, and notice it is a more northerly solution as well. Okay, so here's my thinking. Let me go back to, say, this chart right here, okay? And this is, again, the 0Z run of the GFS. I think most likely, now this is certainly not set in stone, but I think most likely you're looking at a further north low track. Now, that could definitely change. It wouldn't take much for it to change, but that's just the idea I'm kind of getting right now. That's the hunch I have. And so, yeah, maybe initially as the precipitation first arrives early next week, could see a shot of some wintry precip, but I'm afraid for snow fans, this might wind up being more of a cold rain event than anything else. But again, that's not set in stone. There are some other models that are indicating more of a suppressed track with the system. So we'll have to continue to refine the forecast for sure as we move forward in time. All right, that is it for today's edition of the video. Everybody have a wonderful day, and God bless.